Hello, my name is Margie DiMonte and welcome to Fit as a Fiddle Today. This is a 30-minute series every month on health and fitness. I will introduce different aspects of health and fitness, which includes the emotional, psychological, physical, and spiritual components. In today's show, I would like to talk about resistance flexibility, created by Bob Cooley, and then we'll slow cook a kale and cannellini bean soup, which is from the book Fresh from the Vegan Slow Cooker by Robin Robertson. I would like to show you a video made by Bill Miles from Best Self magazine on resistance flexibility. This is a technique developed by Bob Cooley. After being struck by a drunk driver, which left him seriously injured and claiming the life of his friend, Bob discovered through self-healing that there are 16 different stretches, 16 muscle groups, 16 meridian pathways, and 16 personality types. They all pair up with each other exactly. In the video, you will see Bob Cooley, his trainer Zach Orme, demonstrate stretching a client. This young woman was thrown from an ATV and was not expected to walk. We will also see trainers Scott Bortoff and Zach as they demonstrate self-stretching exercises.
So there's only 8 different directions that your leg moves in. You move in 8 directions for your upper and lower body. And so there's 8 groups of muscles that move you. So all we do is move the person in these 8 directions. And then we feel where they have resistance to that movement. And that's where they have dense fascia or scar tissue. And then if you naturally let your body resist and tense, when we move you in those directions, we can cause a transfiguration of the fascial material, and then you can actually have freedom of movement again in that part of your body. And that part of your body is also associated with an organ, physiological functioning, according to the theories of Chinese medicine, and to specific psychological traits, development of personality traits associated with the 16 geniuses. My second book, The 16 Geniuses, 16 Genetic Personality Types. So we can help a person develop those aspects of their personality that were never developed, or they're part of their physiology that was never developed, or their biomechanical part that was never developed, or their values, or your spiritual system, whatever wasn't developed. Whatever was great, and then whatever isn't is what you have to develop. And a person's like that. They're just kind of have some things that never got developed. And those parts that weren't developed show up as problems. So other people that have developed those parts of themselves don't have those problems. So if you have a problem and other people don't have it, you don't have to have the problem. All we have to do is develop the part of you that people have developed that don't have that problem. So if a person's depressed and can't get out of it, they don't know that people that are creative are transmuting their depression into creativity. So all you have to do is develop the part of them. You can do it physically, and then they start processing their depression or anxiety, and it turns into excitement and creativity. That's how it works. So it's not a matter of getting rid of the depression exactly. They need a way to transmute it, because the most creative people are the people that are transmuting their depression and other people's into creativity. That's how that works. It goes systemic into your physiological system, and it goes into your psychological system, and into your spiritual or your belief systems, right? Whatever your spiritual traditions are. So another example was, say somebody is addicted. Well, addiction is associated with the muscle groups associated with your stomach in Chinese medicine. And so if you change the fascial structures in that muscle group, which is in your lateral quad, in these muscle groups here up your body, if you change those and remove the dense fascia and scar tissue, the person, instead of being addicted, doesn't just lose the addiction, they develop the personality traits of sobriety, they find work that they like to do, they develop a quality of life that's satisfying for you. So people that are sober are doing work they like to do, they have a quality of life they like having, and they're self-expressive. And the person that's addictive doesn't know how to do those behaviors because that part of them isn't developed. So you can't just tell them to develop it. You have to develop that part of them. And you can do that by developing very specific flexibility and strength in certain muscle groups. And then they'll start exhibiting those behaviors. And when they have the behavior of sobriety and work that they like to do and self-expressive, then they're transmuting the fear that was fueling their addiction and turning it into entrepreneurial behavior. That's what happens. So if a person could experience that physically, the way everybody does it gets stretched by resistance flexibility, then they would realize it's no more a war about good against bad. It's telling you that if you take the part of you that's bad or broken or undeveloped, and if you develop that part, that's what good is. So good is just a transmutation of whatever's bad. Like you grow flowers out of compost, not out of flowers, right? So you take the compost, which is whatever problem you have, and you transmute it into its opposite high trait. That's how you do that.
So we're going to go over like some stretches for the hamstrings, probably the most important muscle group to be stretching. The first one we're going to do is we're going to go for the central hamstring, which is the middle hamstring muscle group that correlates to your nervous system. We all know our nervous systems get thrown off from stress in our lifestyles. So what we want to do is you have 1 foot back behind you, okay, and you have 1 foot in front of you. You're going to put one hand on the ground, and you're going to put one hand on your hamstring so you can feel it. So not a lot of people really feel what the hamstrings feel like, so this will give you a proprioceptive feel. So what you do is like move forward to the knee. As you move forward to the knee, you're going to push down to the heel and keep extending through your hip. And you can create that tension and resistance. As you can continue to push down the heel, you can keep resisting against the ground. And you'll see that my muscle will start to shake, and we're going to stretch on the hamstring. But I'm also extending at the hip to get leverage and to get more of a stretch. And so that's the first one, to get the central hamstring. You can start with little short reps at the beginning, and then after that you can move into longer. Most people don't have much range on the hamstrings, they're usually really short, and so you want to start really short and keep pushing down to the ground to the heel. And that's for the central hamstring, which goes to brain health also. The second one in the hamstring series is going to be really important, is going to be for the lateral hamstring. This is the most affected in the U.S., most scar tissue muscle in the U.S. The lateral hamstring helps with lateral movement, jumping and squatting motions, but correlates to back issues. So this one's going to be really important. I'm going to show you 2 versions of this, okay? The first version, I'm going to be on my back, okay? And so you're going to be laying your back, and you're going to have one leg down, bent. And what you're going to do is you're going to reach across with the opposite arm. I'm stretching the right leg. And I'm going to kick down. As I continue to kick down and resist, I'm going to pull my leg upwards and pull it across. As you can see too, I'm again touching the hamstring, trying to get that feel for it. And you can see like I'm creating that tension to stretch the muscle. As I bring it across the body, I extend the leg upwards. And you can even kick back down for a strength movement to feel it. And so on. I also found it easy to flex the hips, so like bring the glutes down to the ground as you do it, and you'll get a little more feel for the hamstring and the stability of the spine. This is for the lateral hamstring.
We're family, we're not.
Just like so.
If she decides not to do it, I'll never work with her.
Low back problems correlated to that muscle group, one of the more larger meridians in the Chinese medicine meridian, concomitant. The next one that we're going to do is going to be for the spleen, or the medial hamstring. So we're working the different hamstrings. We did the central for the first one, and then the second one we did for lateral, and now we're going to do medial. which is on the inside of the leg, which helps with internal rotation of the leg. And it's one of the main muscle groups that is used during running and also bicycle riding. So it's pretty important. So for this one, we're going to do the same type of posture as what we did the last one. But instead of pulling the leg across your body, we're going to pull the leg outwards, okay? So we're going to, again, be in the same posture, one leg bent at 90 degrees. And we're going to kick down, and we're going to reach on the inside of the leg. Which might go this way. Sorry about that. Yeah, so you're going to kick down. As you continue to kick down for the spleen, you're going to pull the leg outwards. As I do that, I'm going to keep pulling my hips down to the ground. And as I pull the leg outwards, I'm going to extend it. And I'm trying to get here on the medial hamstring right here. So again, you're pulling the hips down to the ground, kicking down with the heel, keep resisting. And then you're going to extend the leg up and outwards. And you'll start working that medial hamstring. Just like so. And again, you can feel it with your hand. It'll make it really helpful to get you that sensation. So again, most people aren't feeling their hamstrings, especially in the medial. For spleen, pancreas muscle group. Just like so. So we just went over lateral, central, and medial, the hamstrings. I think those are the longest, the most important groups for the body and also the meridians. The next one I'm going to go on to is for the gallbladder. This is for the IT band outside of the leg here. The iliotibial band, it's a tendon. It correlates the gallbladder meridian, which runs from your second toe inwards, all the way up the side leg, up the peroneus, all the way up the IT band, and into the TFL muscle here. It's usually a muscle group that gets really short from a lot of standing and sitting, which happens a lot in our culture, given desk jobs and so on. So this is going to be an important one to open up. So what we're going to do here is a pigeon pose. So the pigeon pose, we're going to have the front leg about 45 degrees in front of you, okay? And the back leg, you're going to trail behind you and internally rotate, okay? We'll start from the side here. And then what I want you to do is you're going to be pushing down through the front leg as you leverage and pull up with the back leg. And that way you can take your arms up and keep repping it, just like so. Or you can put the arms on the ground and shift the hip towards the side that you're stretching. And so on.
Yeah, so this stretches the lateral portion of the quad, which is the stomach meridian. So in this stretch, you're starting forward in a lunge position, kicking your back foot into the wall. And as you're kicking that force into the wall, use your front leg to bring your body back in space towards your back foot, which is lengthening these muscles in the quad for the stomach meridian.
That's for addiction. I'm going to start for strength first. Or that's first to rise. Cerebral spine. Push back.
Okay, so this stretch is for the internal immune system. It's the muscle group on the back side of the shoulders here, the T-spine, thoracic spine. So I'm starting upright with my pelvis extended, and my arms are pushing into my legs as my legs are pushing into the wall, and flattening my shoulder blades down into the ground as I lower my pelvis. You start back up at the top, kicking my feet into the wall, using my hands to push into my knees as I lower my pelvis. And stretching the muscles on the back side of my spine.
It's all about the fascia, which is connective tissue which sheathes your muscles and organs. When we experience physical trauma, scar tissue develops in the fascia, and it accrues throughout our lives. But it's not just the physical. We also experience emotional, psychological, spiritual trauma. So manipulation of fascia through stretching the muscles while resisting contracts the muscle, fascia resists, reorients itself, scar tissue breaks down and gets eliminated through the lymphatic system and the vascular system. So you can target what you want to develop or change through this technique. You can transform the physical, emotional, psychological, or spiritual traumas into a higher level of being. As Bob states in this video, good is transformation of the bad. Okay, I am preparing a kale and cannellini bean soup using a slow cooker. This is one of those feel-good soups packed with nutrients and great flavors. I got this recipe from the book Fresh from the Vegan Slow Cooker by Robin Robertsons. The ingredients are 2 teaspoons of olive oil and 1 medium yellow onion chopped and 3 large garlic cloves minced. They're all here together. 1 large Yukon gold potato, peeled and chopped. 3 cups of cannellini beans or other white beans. If you don't want to cook the beans yourself, then you can buy 2 15-ounce cans of beans. Rinse them and drain them before using them so that you can not have too much sodium in your recipe. 6 cups of vegetable broth, 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, salt and pepper to taste. I didn't include the salt because usually because of the sodium from the beans and from the vegetable broth, I don't tend to use the salt because it might be too salty. Okay, so basically we're going to start. This is the slow cooker. I'm going to add in both the garlic and the onions. Okay, and then I'm going to add in the potato. Alrighty, and then these are your cannellini beans. Just get this here. All right, and then I'm going to add in the vegetable broth. There we go. Whoops. Just lost my spoon in the process. Alrighty, so just put that there. Then, okay, we're going to add in the crushed peppers. And this is black pepper, crushed black pepper. I just do a few, just to, just so you get it all on the top, like that. Alrighty, and then the next ingredient, and the last ingredient, would be your kale. So you throw that in, and then put your cover on. We'll stir it around a bit, just so that you get the kale mixed in a bit. Whoops, sorry about that. Alrighty. Just going to wipe this up a bit. Sorry, making this a little bit messy here, but I think you understand what I'm doing. All right, we'll put the cover on and put this on low, and you cook for 6 hours. And I just want to tell you why I chose this, because of the nutritional value of the kale. Kale is a detoxant, and it's called the queen of the greens. It's very high in nutrients, and also the cannellini beans, the legumes. They're very high in protein, low in calories. They are filled with iron, zinc, potassium. All of this is very good for you. It's great soup to have in the winter. I figured because of the weather that we're having now, this would be a great slow cooker recipe. Okay, so that's this. So I just wanted to make sure that you end up seeing what it looks like after it's cooked. And this is it here. So I would just stir it around a bit, but you can just see all the great ingredients all mixed together. And there it is. Okay, bon appetit. Okay, so I thank you very much for joining us for this show. I just want to go over what we did. We made a slow cooking recipe of kale and cannellini bean soup. The first part of the segment, we watched a video by Bob Cooley on resistance flexibility. So again, thank you very much for watching the show, and see you next time.